Team Groudon will also be giving away Shopee vouchers to 5 selected questions or comments from the chat box. You can keep up to date with the latest happenings in the Groudon universe by following us on social media at Groudon. We also urge all our viewers to follow Hartalega on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Hartalega. And don't forget to vote for Hartalega as Malaysia's most preferred employer by visiting their booth and voting for them there. So without further ado, I'll be passing the floor to our moderator of the day. Amir, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Wafi. Thank you so much, everyone who is joining the talk today. Hello, hello. I see Ellie, Nazim, Azri at the chat section. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning with us. Okay. Before we start, I just would like to get some encouragement from all the participants joining. Okay. I see that everyone has tried their chat section and it working really great. I can see all the messages from you guys. Thank you so much. Keep the message coming. Yeah. Okay. So I know this is virtual. Yeah. And we have been living on this live for more than a year already. But for today's session, my wish, my only request for all of us joining, is actually to imagine, use our imagination and make this as if that we are in a physical setting event. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Yeah, how are we going to imagine that this is a physical live event? Okay, so when our speaker do some sharing and you are agree, yeah, you agree to the statement, just nod your head, yeah, not and very serious face, like, because you know serious listener to the class won't get called up for random questions. so do give that, you know, even though you're in the PC, in front of the PC, lying on your bed, on a couch, just pretend that this is live. So when you feel like nodding, just nodding. Okay, use the chat section, interact with us. If jokes are attempted, feel free to laugh and give the smiley, give some love if you wish. So we know that we are being encouraged to do more and to make this session more engaging with all of you. I think it's best if you guys be like a Liverpool supporter. Yeah, don't let me and Joseph walk alone throughout this whole session. Okay, be like Liverpool fans. Okay, because a Liverpool fan never let others walk alone. If they see someone walk alone, they will just come and you know, walk together. So so be like Liverpool fan, please. Okay. Other than that, I think I don't know if there is any Liverpool fans here. I want to see the chat section. I want to see. Do anyone have already hashtag YNWA? Oh, Razik already laughed to my lame jokes. Thank you, Razik. So thank you so much for encouraging. YNWA. Okay, see, you guys must be good in history. So I think before we start, me and Joseph would like to conduct some simple activities just for us to get the energies rolling, just to get you guys, you know, ease into the session later. So this game is guess the words. Okay, teka perkataan itu. Okay, so use your chat section, write your answer at the chat section. Work together. Okay, so use the chat section, channel your competitiveness. Okay, we're gonna see who is the fastest on answering, on guessing the words right. Okay, so the first word will be this one. Let's see who will be the fastest. Will the Liverpool fans will be the fastest on this? Okay, we have the oh it's a big lag, sorry. Okay, yeah, anyone answering? Yeah, Farah, in my screen, Farahiyah Najla, get it right. Silicon Valley. Okay, what is Silicon Valley? Okay, please Google. I don't have time to really explain on that. You can use Google since you are on your screen. Okay, Silicon Valley, you get it right, Najla. I mean, yeah, you're fast, and I hope you are Liverpool fans. Oh, others are answering as well. Okay, moving on to the next word. Give it a little bit seconds before it transition to the next words. Okay. Now this is an awkward moment for me because the screen haven't changed. I think on your part. Yeah, the screen has changed. What will be this word? Okay, kalau tadi the girls get it right and very quick. Can we see guys living up to this word? Already, do we have? Oh, again, I think it's girls who get it right. Who's that? Is it Ellie? In my screen, I see Ellie. Congratulations, Ellie, for getting it right. Inventive, yeah. The word that we're looking at is inventive. That is the second word. The first word is Silicon Valley. The second word is inventive. So let's take a look at the third word. What will be the word? Okay, hold on. Give the screens a little bit time before it transfer. Yep, it transfer already. Yeah, but how to pronounce your name? Bayi, is it Kanan? Okay, imaginative. Yes, that's the word that we're looking at. I love this audience. You guys are very interactive. Farah said that you guys are so fast. Farah, who are you? Is it Arsenal? So, who is that number 4? So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get hate comments, like, man, from this. Imaginative, that is correct. Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at the next word. Okay. It will be changed on your screen any seconds now. Okay, I'm nervous. I'm gonna see who get this right. Daniel get it. Oh, sorry, Nakib. My screen is Nakib. Nakib get it right. Startup. Okay, just one quick questions. Startup. Are you guys team Dosan or team Jipyong? Please answer correctly. Are you guys team Dosan or team Jipyong? Because you guys, I know you guys love Korean drama. So I wonder who will be which team you lean into. Is it team Dosan or team Jipyong? Kalau you tanya I adalah team Grandma Chu. Grandma Chu has the best character. I love her. Every time her scene came out, I cried. Seriously. So yeah, I team Grandma Chu. Okay. I think let's move on. I think that's about it. These words, if you can relate, is actually leading towards our topic today. It's innovation. Okay. Joseph, our HR director of Hartalega, will be sharing with you some scene of how Hartalega lead the innovation in the glove industry for the world. Yeah, and also you're gonna see how you can ease into how is your role, how can you can play your role to actually ignite the passion for innovation. Okay, and also there will be also some sharings on opportunities that Hartalega at the end of this session. Yeah. Okay. So I think I don't want to take so much time. Joseph might be mad at me later. Yeah, had already thrown some punch and he has to leave it up to it later. So yeah, I think without further ado, let's imagine like this is a live event. So you guys, if you guys on your screen clap, scream all you want. Okay, give it up to my one and only Joseph Koh, the Direct HR, Human Resource Director of Hartalega. Over to you, Joseph.
Yay! Thanks,
Yay!
Amir. Thanks, everyone. What amount of energy that you have today. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday. I imagine it's coming to your lunchtime. And I hope and wish that this 1 hour that we spend, not just only about, hey, what does it mean for me to spend my time, but, really refresh as well in terms of what it means for you to have a passion for innovation, right? I do want that at the end of this session, you say, I do have passion for innovation. I can do it. I can do it. I just want us to go there, right? So there's 3 things that I want to talk today, right? I want to bring in the latest thinking about culture and leadership in terms of innovation. I think there's just some fantastic work that's being done here in Asia, right? And just want to share with you some of these ideas. So it doesn't matter if you join Hartalega or not, let me be honest, because we are all looking and rooting for Malaysia. Second is I want to share with you as well in terms of how we think about it in Hartalega as our next stage of innovation ecology, and maybe some ideas about what it means for you, right? So I'm Joseph, that's Shu, my daughter. You can see I'm actually in her room, and that's my daughter, May. I remember many decades ago that I just came out of university, and actually my second job, right? So I went to my cubicle, right? And I was doing training and development, and there's Farah, and there's also Ananti, and with that I saw a mountain of papers, and then I was in Western Digital. We just they just moved to Malaysia from Singapore, almost facing bankruptcy. I think you know what Western Digital is, hard disk drive, right? As well as storage technology nowadays, and we were at about 4,000 people, but we are looking at about growing to 10,000 people. So I was thinking, how can that happen, right? What would happen when we grew to 10,000 people, right? We probably can't see the cubicle anymore, right? So what do we need to do? So imagine the horror if we go there. So in short, then the ASP.NET just came, the new technology from Microsoft, and did some work there, which I never realized is about innovation, right? And generally, it was a good product. Panasonic, right, wanted to buy it for about 100,000 ringgit, and at that point of time, you can actually buy a bungalow for about 300,000 ringgit in Petaling Jaya. And of course, I signed up the rights to that product. And at the end, we also actually use it in our corporate headquarters in US as well, right? So I want us not just, I'm sharing this not to say that I did a good job, but I want to encourage us to, wherever you are, right? You might be in a final year or second year, you might be also looking for a role, for a job. You might be looking for a job for some time, right? So I want to encourage you that it doesn't mean that if you're entry level, you have no play, you have no skin in the game. You do have skin in the game, those innovation. Next slide, please, Ami. So I want to talk about some of the things that I felt so proud to be a Malaysian. I'm not sure about you, but and this activity is a called mix and match, right? As I kind of talk, there's A, B, and C, and please mix and match and identify. I put the names of the said individuals. You can put it in the chat box, right? The first one who get it right, Ami will give you, a voucher, right? And please give your address as well, because we're going to send it to you, right? So, but I'm going to give you a hint. I'm going to talk about our founder, right? Mr. Kwan, right? Mr. Kwan founded Hartalega in 1988 from a one-night operations in Kepong, right? And at that point of time, it was one of 20 companies that were given the license to actually do that. And from 1991 to 1995, the company expanded to 15 lines. And what was really interesting was that at that point of time in the 1980s, which you and we are not in the workplace yet, it was the heyday of the Japanese technology, right? And the Japanese technology subcontracted to Taiwanese, and a lot of the machines were coming from Taiwan then. And we actually bought 3 from the Taiwanese. And upon receiving to them, Chairman, Mr. Kwan said, I think I can do better, right? Imagine you're a barista, and you're given a super nice, or you just bought a super nice Italian coffee maker, and you want to make the best coffee for your customer. And you look at it and say, I can even do a better machine of this. And not only can I do a better machine, I can do a better roasting processes. I can get a better product. So the end product is way, way better for the customer, the discerning customer, right? So that's what Mr. Kwan did, right, at that point of time. And so it only took about 6 years for us to receive an imported machine that was the top line machine, right, from those higher technology company then, and produce our first glove stripping machine in the year 1994. Just 6 years for us to transform and innovate and create a culture a portfolio of companies that provide the technology in Malaysia. So right now, when we look at glove technologies, a lot of the other countries are looking at Malaysia. And one of the greatest innovators is actually Mr. Kwan, right? So the other answers, so B, the Taiwan and Japan flag is Mr. Kwan. Then of course you have Hui Ling Anthony, and that's the the story about Hui Ling felt insecure coming back late at night, right? So that's the creation of Grab. And the 1 ringgit, which is to bought the 2 planes, which is Tan Sri, Tony, and the rest, come and in the creation of AirAsia. So to those who got it right, congratulations. Please leave your address with us, right? Now I just want to share with you the next slide, which is the people of Hartalega, we call Hartanians. And to me, these are the most important bit of Hartalega, right? Whatever we talk about today about innovation, that's really the moot point. The moot point is you need people to innovate, and these are our precious gems. And in many ways, before PKP, we had so much fun, and I do miss that. Yeah, and Amir, can we show the video right now?
Sure. Okay, hold on, yeah.
Yeah. So while we're at it, can I go to the next slide a bit? So Hartalega.
Joseph, we are ready to show the video.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I think it will be some lag on the viewer screen, so bear with that, yeah?
Across the globe, we touch lives, from healthcare workers and those from other industries, to families and communities, to our employees and our value chain of partners who protect, value, and enhance lives every day. We are Hartalega. Being at the forefront of protecting lives, we are driven and conscious of our responsibility and the impact we have in all that we do. At the core of Hartalega's success is our employees, united by our shared purpose to positively impact the world.
It has been an amazing journey for me personally, as well as for Hartalega. Having started off as a single-line operation back in 1988, today Hartalega is a leader in the global glove industry. I have been with Hartalega for 5 years now, and as a senior chemist, I am proud to go to work every day knowing that what we do helps countless people around the world.
As Hartalega stays true to our mission of protecting lives, we do our utmost to strive for excellence, reflected in our state-of-the-art proprietary manufacturing processes and technological solutions. These key enablers of technology, innovation, efficiency, and quality have given Hartalega the competitive edge of having the fastest production lines in the glove industry, producing more than 45,000 gloves per hour per production line. A carefully crafted journey that is fast, efficient, and above all, sustainable, with the sole purpose of protecting lives. Hartalega's passion to enrich lives drives us to constantly innovate and push boundaries in all that we do. From creating the world's first high-quality, lightweight nitrile glove, to raising the bar for the industry through innovation. Hartalega continues to excel and improve with research and development, propelling us forward, enabling us to meet the evolving needs of the global healthcare sector, as well as other sectors, from dental and laboratory to food, health and beauty and industrial.
Hartalega is not just a workplace. We are a family that works hard and plays hard together, driven by our own Hartalega spirit. The strength of our bond creates an opportunity for us to also give back to the community together. Through Yayasan Hartalega or the Hartalega Foundation, we continue to engage, empower, and evolve with our communities.
Our responsibility to protect lives begins at home. With people at the heart of Hartalega, we go to great lengths to care for all employees, regardless of nationality or background. Hartalega is committed to continuously enhancing social compliance, going above and beyond to provide the best for our people, allowing us to meet international standards. Beyond strengthening policies and practices for employee welfare and providing essential facilities, we also ensure our employees have a balanced lifestyle where they can enjoy leisure activities with recreational facilities for sports and games. As we strive to treat all our people ethically with fairness and respect, Hartalega continues to be recognized as a frontrunner in industry best practices and as an employer of choice. Hartalega is dedicated to making a meaningful difference in lives across the world. From healthcare practitioners and the families and communities that they care for, to other sectors utilizing glove products, to Hartalega's own people and surrounding communities. Standing strong together, moving forward together, and creating new opportunities together, steadfast in our values, committed to enriching lives for all. Hartalega, touching lives.
Thank you. So Hartalega, in our 31 years of existence, is actually relatively a young company, right, with high aspiration. Next slide. And you can see that we are proudly Malaysian, going global. We are also fully invested in Malaysia, right? So you're probably the only one of the big companies that does not have a operating footprint out of Malaysia. The next is that we do sell 99% of our products elsewhere, 50% of it to Americas. And if you see that those countries, they have a high regulation, high standard, high quality, and a lot of products are based on that, right? Differentiated usage and being able to connect to the needs of the population there. Next slide. Now, I want to talk about ourselves in some point that you can remember. We are producing about 40 billion gloves per year, out of a demand about 360 to 400 billion yearly. About 260 billion of that comes from Malaysia, and about 140 billion of that comes from the top two producer, which is Top Glove and ourselves. Right. So if you think about it, the glove industry is about 60% of the global market. Right. So one of the sectors that has penetrated the worldwide market, right, and proudly Malaysian. Let me go to the next slide, and I want to talk about innovation. So innovation to me can be found anywhere, and one of the thing that happened in the last few weeks that really made me proud, really make me excited, was this idea of white flag. A simple idea that comes out from a necessity, right? And where Malaysians not only embrace the idea, but you can see droves of people coming out to support each other. I think that's a wonderful thing about Malaysia. And above and beyond, it's also about how the country comes together, our DNA, our culture. I remember when I first went to Miri, and the task was actually do a business restructuring of Shell upstream. So kind of set up a street feeding, right, in Miri. But before going there, I asked the locals and say, hey, do you have any poor people? And actually, all of them say, no, we don't have, right? So I guess if we don't look, then we'll never find. But these kind of ideas are the innovative ideas that comes out as simple and effective, right? So the white flag was a great idea, is a great idea. And within a few days, you can see there are apps that comes out, right? The first that comes out is the Kita Jaga Kita, right? And at last 2-3 days, there's also BP, Bendera Putih, as well as Community 360. So that is just mushrooming out, in the ecosystem that I have in Malaysia, right? So in many ways, as we kind of see where we are, innovation can happen. In fact, innovation can happen when things are the most quiet, the most boring, right? Then we become very creative. Can I spare some time in the next slide to talk about Hartalega and product innovation? And I just want to share to you some of what has happened since the beginning slide, right, with Mr. Kwan. By the early 2000s, Hartalega was actually number 5 or number 6 in terms of the size, right, of the glove manufacturing companies in Malaysia. So we are actually quite small. At a point in time, at 2002, we decided that we want to expand our capacity. But we know that the competitors, the big brothers, are way, way bigger than us. So Mr. Kwan knew that we need to have the differentiating niche for us to go into. What I'm going to talk to after this is kind of connected to my previous role in oil and gas, and also one of the work that I did with the Orang Asli in doing rubber trading in Pekan. So quite fast, I learned that there's something called wintering. Wintering means that you can't do rubber tapping. Basically, it's about 2 months of the year where the rubber would shed their leaves. And that's the impact, right, for those who need to make gloves, because you do get inconsistent supply, right? And at the point of time, 95% of gloves are actually made from rubber. And why rubber? Because it's softer. It responds to touch, right? And it is less sensitive to the skin, right? Nitrile, on the other hand, at the point of time, was very thick and stiff. And the medical professionals do not like it, right? Because they are not able to perform, let's say, the surgery that needs that kind of intensity, right? At the point of time as well, the protein allergy really was an issue, right, in the US, especially in the medical fraternity. It's also important to know that it can be the best idea, but it needs to be affordable, right? It needs to be affordable for the customers as well. And so at the point of time, there is this product, right, that comes from the fracking, the cracking of the crudes, which is the butadiene, as well as acronol or nitrile, right? Now, these are not the popular products right now. They are not common, means that in terms of cost, they are not so high. Yeah, but having the low cost itself is not going to make that difference in terms of affordability. So what Mr. Kwan and the team did is really spend a lot of time in terms of material technology, right? As well as really a complete re-engineering in terms of production technology, right? To actually bring down the cost to be competitive to a rubber glove. So by 2005, we have produced the first lightweight nitrile glove in the world, right? At about 4.7 gram, it was much, much lighter, much flexible, much softer than the conventional nitrile glove that was about 7 gram at the time. And about that time, about 2005, we then went to the US market, took them by storm, went to the UK as well European market. It's a complete changeover. Then you went to Japan, which also have that kind of expectation. So really, I think it was really a phenomenon, right? Starting from an idea, looking at the opportunity, based on a view about where the commodity, right, the supply, the consistent supply will give us the advantage. Now that move, that single move propelled Hartalega from the number 6 to number 2 right now in terms of manufacturer glove, in terms of size, in terms of nitrile glove. We are and remains the world's largest exporter of nitrile gloves since 2010. So if you go to the PVV or any hospital and you see these blue color gloves, right, it's actually from Hartalega, the creator of the lightweight nitrile glove. So the ABC of nitrile glove, to me, I will summarize it, is acrylonitrile, butadiene, as well as color. And that's the color that you see in the hospital right now. I find that the second one, which to me is also an innovation that I want to share with you, which to me is very excitable in this point of time, is the antimicrobial gloves. And Amir is going to share to you 3 links, right, of what these antimicrobial gloves are. And it shows you the science of what it is. It also gives you some of the examples, right, of the efficacy of this. So basically, it's an interesting idea. So there is something called a microbial burden, meaning that we actually have microbes as well as bacteria around us, and more so in areas like hospital, right, which produces, which has a fair bit of risk, right? So in terms of the need of the population, is that, hey, can we protect our frontliners? And that's what Hartalega did, right? So there's something called a photosensitizer dye, right? And that's a technology that is used to be put together in the glove, right? And basically, when it's exposed to light, right? There's light. Sensitizer means that it's sensitive to the light. So once it's exposed to the light, it would change the triplet oxygen to a singlet oxygen. You can see in the YouTube, right? Basically, the radical oxygen would then kill the bacteria, right? And you can see in one of the video where they show, how the bacteria and the efficacy of those kills are. I think it's just amazing. And it is what the earlier video said, to protect lives, right? Especially people that uses them. The next innovation that I'll talk about, next slide, is on coats. And my daughter has eczema, and it creates so much pressure to me and my wife to make sure she's protected, right? That she don't scratch herself. Similarly, for the frontliners who uses the gloves, and some of you will have actually donned your gloves or did some volunteering maybe in the PVVs, and you'll be using gloves, let's say, for the 8 hours, right? So what this product does is that it actually protects your hands, as well as even improving it, right? So if you are actually part of a workforce right now that is serving the medical fraternity, or maybe you're going in and then you're part of the frontliners that helps us to fight against COVID-19, the isolation of 14 days, at the end of 14 days, basically, if you wear this glove consistently, you may get, better skin as a result, right? So coats is also another innovation from Hartalega. So the next slide gives you some of the summary of the innovative technology that we have in Hartalega. So you see some of the products that I shared on the top side, and I hope that you also Google around and really check whether these claims are correct or not. But we are a quality producer, and we look at the market segmentation of gloves that really gives that specific benefit for the users. That's what we really want to give in terms of protecting lives through our products that we develop. In terms of production, I've shared previously in terms of how we put technology into it, and especially glove stripping machine. The double former, right, is basically you have 2 lines instead of 1 line. Basically, in the old days, you have 13,000 gloves per hour. So we move it to 25,000, and right now we're at 45,000, which is the fastest in the world by Hartalega, right? And good pack are basically packing into a small pack this surgical glove, so that a surgeon can use a glove and not get stained, and don't stain the other gloves that is not used, right? So it reduces wastages, right, at the end user. So that's innovation in Hartalega and part of our DNA as we grow up as a company. Next, I want to talk about the innovation in Asia. And you hear Amir talk about, I think the first question, right? Silicon Valley. In the last few years, there was really very good research in terms of what does leadership mean in Asia. And you can Google some of the work by Oxford site, really helpful work in terms of why is it different Asian leaders than, let's say, Anglo-Saxon leaders as well as Western leaders. And this book, and I use from the Innovation Council of Singapore. And I find it so good that I'll share that with you, right? Basically, is it the same? Do we do innovation the same in Asia as well, as what we actually get in the Western countries like the Googles and Amazons, right? Can we do the same? What would be the outcome, right? So in many ways, if we ever ask someone about feedback about innovation, you know that innovation benefits from having disagreements, right? Ideas get better as they get sharpened and get challenged. But what if the idea comes from your boss? Yeah. And so this work by Gert Hofstadter, right? And he was a favorite psychologist of mine. And I love his work. He came from IBM. He did work in terms of understanding where the footprint of IBM is and the employees' wish and needs, right? Right now we call it employee engagement survey. So he used that. He have about 100,000 data points, and then across all countries. And by 1971, he felt that he should take time to understand what these data points are. So he took 2 years of sabbatical, and he then looked out what are the commonalities, right? So there are 6 differences as you look at the cultures of different nations. And one of it, there's 2 that I'm going to share, but one of it is called power distance. Now, power distance is basically about how people view about those in power, right? So that's why the word power distance, right? So those with lower levels of power would follow those who make those orders in countries where there's a higher level of power distance. And so it's about compliances, right?
Hey guys, I think Joseph is having some technical issues with Zoom. Amir, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Right, okay. So I think while we wait for Joseph to reconnect, we actually have a question from the floor. I think it's quite an interesting question that we can address at this point. The question is quite, it is about the culture at Hartalega, and the question is from Daharik Sivam. He's asking, what is your favorite part about working with Hartalega?
Okay, if you ask me what will be my favorite part of working in Hartalega, is actually the opportunity to experience great things. Why I said that? It's actually because Hartalega is expanding. Like Joseph told earlier, from the single line in 1988, we have grown so much. And we are expanding soon. If you follow the news closely, we are expanding to Kedah soon. More plants are building up to support the glove production. So when I joined Hartalega as an expanding company, I get the opportunity to experience in a meaningful projects. I get the experience to involve and make change. So basically, that will be, I think, the best thing about working in Hartalega. Example. We just actually launched our learning management system, Hartalens. We call that back in 2018. So I'm a mass comm graduate. So and then when we want to launch that, I was being involved by my superior to involve in the change management team. So, to ease Hartinians to go into from the traditional learning into a learning management system to teach that. So the experience in the change management was actually really fun. You started to think how to make everyone leaning towards the change, because change is hard. I think you guys can agree with me. To make change, to be able to change is very hard if you're already comfortable, right, with that.
Of course.
So in the change management setting, I learned a lot, and I think that will be the best part. And I think most of my colleagues will be agreeing with me. We have been involving in Industrial 4.0 journey, all the traditional engineering, and now moving into that.
Right.
So, and we are the most innovative glove company in the world. So the engineers, my friends, will be able to, keep on innovating, keep on improving the production lines at Hartalega. So yes, if you ask me what will be the best thing about working in Hartalega, is the opportunities to involve and make change, make difference.
Right.
That will be the answer.
So okay, and thus is the topic of the webinar today: passion for innovation. And obviously, you guys are quite strong on a passion. So something that you guys should know about the fair that's happening for the 4 days. We'll be having webinars every day, about at least 2 of them a day. We'll be having another one after this at 1:30 p.m. So a lot of our audience, per se, are quite also interested in how Hartalega's work-life balance is. And I'm sure this is, this is reflected in the Hartajai's initiative that you guys brought up, and you were telling me earlier before the session started. So can you tell me a little bit more about Hartalega, me and the audience, of course, about Hartajai's, that is, sorry.
Okay, so Hartalega is the manufacturing industry, everyone knows. We produce gloves. So if I were to ask all my audiences today, even my friends back in college, to be in the manufacturing industry will be the last on our mind. I think most answers will be oil and gas, banking services, telco services. That will be in the top of the mind for us when we want to find employers. So in Hartalega, we actually try to move it from that such traditional of manufacturing. So we want to create a fun, engaged, and happy workplace. So that is when we created Hartajai's. And the aim is actually to produce a happy, healthy, and engaged workforce. So yes, we have a lot of fun before pandemic. We had water rafting, even to cater to our foreign workers. We have sepak takraw, because our Myanmar very good at that. And then we have volleyball, fishing. A lot of our staff love fishing. We even have health-related activities. We have durian party back then. The
durian party was really good.
Fun. Yeah. So a lot of things, happened. In pandemic, we actually tried to make it virtual. We had our virtual treasure hunt. We had our Duduk Rumah challenge. Soon, I think we're going to launch TikTok challenge since everybody is talking about that. So yeah, that is all Hartajai's is all about. Joseph is here again.
Joseph's back. Welcome back, Joseph.
I'm so sorry. I was talking to myself. I do not know where you went.
No worries. These things happen. So I'll leave you guys to it. All the best.
Thank you.
Okay, Joseph, over to you again.
Yeah, thanks. I thought I have finished about the boss is always right. So I think you get the sense, right? That's a prevailing culture that we have, Malaysia, as well as Singapore. Can we go next slide? As you talk about Hartajai's, right? The other sense, not only in Malaysia, Singapore, but we do have our foreign associates from different countries, but generally we are all have very collective culture, right? Makan bersama-sama kan. So second part that Hofstadter has is called individualism. So so we are quite high, right, in terms of collectivism versus individualism that's much higher in other countries, right? So like I said in the beginning, I do miss those good times. And Amir did share about how do we have so many communal activities together. At the same time, culturally, we are we do look at decisions that are made together, right? So there are two parts to this. Is that, hey, do I want to stand out, right? Do I want to stand out in giving out ideas, in coming out with let's say innovations, right? The second part is actually, do I want to take risks, do something and fail drastically? Yeah. And I feel that maybe the second part is probably a stronger influence on our motivation, right? Because it's about fear. It's about what happened, right, to my self-esteem, right, if things goes wrong, right? So do people play down mistakes when or to avoid being seen as weak, right? Do managers react to mistakes very harshly? I think these are all things that we need to think and consider operating in Asia, in Malaysia, and wherever you are, right? We would recognize some of this prevailing culture in whichever company that you'll be in. Okay, can I give you some suggestions what can we do in the next slide? I think it's very helpful to think about how do we play to our strength, and how do you play to actually bring innovation, although we know that they are prevailing culture there. Yeah, so that's the first two. First is to think about how do I create a safe space for ideas. And it really is about leaders leading to create the environment that is safe and welcoming for ideas, right? I've seen before many times in conversations, in meetings where ideas just get killed, or even worse, someone get humiliated in front of others. It was, I think it's a disaster if you think that you want to create a culture of innovation. Okay, you can Google right now, look at all the different companies in Malaysia and elsewhere, and see that, yeah, there are many platforms. So you create a structure, they call it platforms, whatever name it is, innovation, circle, and whatnot. Those are platforms to enable people to actually put ideas in. What I find also useful are something called a no judgment rule, right? It's part of the brainstorming process, right? Where you don't give comments, but allow the idea generation to happen. Embrace conflict. It's not about person, it's always about idea, right? And in order for us to compete at world class and contribute to Malaysians' growth, it's about intentionally thinking about what does embracing the conflict means. Yeah, how do we do advocacy? How do you think about assigning roles, right, in a meeting context? How do we give feedback, right? Immediate feedback, and someone doesn't feel obliged or bad when feedback is given. In Hartalega, we started with the work by David Cantor that is called assessing in action, right? And one of the 4 roles that's there is called opposing, right? So the opposing doesn't mean that I oppose you like pembangkang, but oppose in the view of making an idea better, helping to think through what the decisions are, right? So it's in early days, but we're looking at this method, right, for us to make the meeting more effective. But fundamentally, the third one is, I think, where we can play to our strength. The customer is always right. Yeah, so you hear the stories about us trying to understand the customers, and you hear many other stories about Amazon and its Kindle and so forth, right? Where it's about what does customer want and need, right? And then get a feedback channel so that we would always connect, right, to understand them better, right? So the next 3 slides, I'll talk about what it means for Hartalega. I do it very fast. We have a culture called SHIELD, and it's embedded there, innovation. And I use my jari tunjuk to talk about innovation as I onboard all the employee, right? But it also doesn't work if the SHELD is not there, right? At the end of the day, innovation doesn't work by an individual contributor. Okay, next slide. Leaders do need to change first, right? Morgan Freeman said, so it must be true. So in terms of employee engagement, these are the things that we are doing in Hartalega to further strengthen a bottoms-up innovation culture, right? Express opinion, even if it contradicted your superior. I can try new things, even if occasional mistakes, right? I want to be able to influence. I want to make the decision at the right level. Okay, so it's also about making our leaders to have different muscles in terms of driving innovation. And last is called the third slide, innovation ecology, right? And I believe there's an internal and external component to this. Internal, there's an innovation funnel, right? People put in their ideas, they go through a funnel. We have the process, and then it generates actions and so forth, right? So ideas, ladies and gentlemen, is just, if it stays in ideas, it doesn't go far, right? So we want to keep it, all the ideas, but at the same time, we want to act on it. Now, the second part is the external side. External is where we believe that we need to get new ideas from outside, right? And to help to create the ecosystem for that. Next slide, please. Let me share some of the opportunity. There's a Young Makers Factory. Imagine you're 20-year-old, you own a business because you have a great idea and Hartalega invests in you. Okay, so Young Makers Bootcamp, where we kind of work with another great company to help you to have the right capability or ideas or insights and support. You have a pitching session, and then we want to invest in it. It becomes a project, right? So next slide, please. So ladies and gentlemen, we are very curious, at the same time excited, right? That Young Makers Factory is available, and take the opportunity for you to be involved in creating a business that you want to lead Malaysia and towards global, right? The next two slides, I'll talk about what does it mean for me as a graduate now, right? And can I actually have the influence, right? So there are actually different roles. You can read about it in the slide. But I do want to talk about individuals. So whenever we go in, we can and capable of ideation and creation. And some of you could go in as your first role as the leaders of others, right? And then you'll be looking at how you do that yourself, at the same time managing the resources as well as the team performance in enabling the innovation culture. And the last slide is not innovate. We can all in or wait, right? So do you want to go all in or do you want to wait? And in any time or any decision that we made, right? Whether you want to take a risk or not, there will be reaction. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, and connecting back to the story that I shared earlier about this person who created these applications. Now I look at LinkedIn and there are some comments. So on the left-hand side, the comment was basically, don't do it, right? Don't do it. On the right-hand side, another person came in and said, hey, why don't you try this? I'm going to help you. So quick iteration, right, about the development of apps, right? And the creator's reaction was this, right? Orang dah tengah nak bantu, tak payah fikir panjang, right? So people are hungry. Let's just do it. Let me share with you my personal experience as well. I went in, I told you the story about that system, right? I was a ikan bilis lah, like so at that point of time we didn't know. I was in HR that it's going to create that kind of change in the company, and not many change happens from HR, to be honest. So we had a communication session, right? And these are all the bosses around, so sharing what we want to do to optimize, right, and make it easy for everybody. And there was one senior manager. There's like 5 levels on top of me, right? He went out at the end of the session. He said, Joseph, you have wasted my time. Thank you for nothing. And he slammed the door as he goes out. It hit me a lot because I was just new to the company and newly working, right? But we went on, right, doing what we think is right. From there on, the production took the idea, they actually have visualizations about their production output. 1 year later, this department, this manager's department, the quality department actually went in the same automation, looking at quality, right? So, don't give up, friends. Don't give up. People may react differently, and you may be the ikan bilis like me, right? Try, get your experience, and next time you can actually talk about it. Okay, so I want to share that Hartalega is growing. If you go to the next slide, Amir, there are jobs opportunities. We want and encourage you to consider us. We are a growing company. We want your ideas. We want your energy. Any new people that come in, that's my challenge, right? The next slide, we are also a award-winning employer. You can see that best employees as well as recognized by the Edge in terms of the company of year 2020. And lastly, the last slide, graduate readiness internship program for those who wants to go internship. Is a bit limited, but come and apply and compete for that role, right? Lastly, do connect to us. Let me summarize. I shared about how Asian leadership responds towards innovation. I shared how Hartalega is doing, as well as looking ahead in terms of how we grow our innovation ecology. And lastly, the two things, right, for you to consider about yourself as you respond to this call for action. Am I all in or wait? Back to you, Ami, on questions.
Thank you so much, Joseph. And I think everyone have actually already thrown up few questions at the chat section, and actually they do give some comments and experience based
wonderful.
On the session just now. Okay, so I think I will take this first question for you first.
Yes, please.
This is from Nukman. Yeah,
Nukman
asks, what ways for us to be more and more proud to be a Malaysian?
Wow. I think it starts with self, right? It starts with self. It starts with and it starts with your decision. So actually, at the age of 18 years old, I decided that I want to serve Malaysia. So I have chances to go China, US, and the latest is Singapore, right? And my only stint was in London, just for a short stint for Shell. I think those are some of the decisions you made that we don't publicize anyways, sorry. But you can't make some of your life decision and say, okay, here are my principle I go with, and that's the outcome I want, right? And then along the ways, we get off happiness and frustrations, and then it helps us to think through our purpose again. But I think it starts with self, and then you look at, how can I do for a community as well, and then company as well as, your circle of influences. I feel it's as basic as that, Lukman. There are many levels that we can go there. I mean, next question.
Okay, this is a question from someone who is very curious. Okay, so he's very curious how Hartalega competing with other glove companies such as Top Glove or other glove companies outside Malaysia. What will be our strategy, okay, to compete, and what makes us better than others? How would you approach that?
So I think we shared some of the differentiated capabilities of Hartalega, the innovation in both technology, material science, as well as engineering, right? You've seen how we created some of the engineering ecosystem for glove manufacturing, as well as the former and things like that. So, but I think there's a few, right? It's the people, right? Right people, like Amir here, you can go far. Second is you really think through, what is my value system? I want to say this because I think it's really important for any companies, including glove manufacturing, to say, I want to do the right thing. And it's really challenging because growth of market or get more profit versus what I think is the right thing to do, right? Third is really thinking about going to detail. You plan long term. And this is a family-based business, you can Google about the family-based business from Germany, some of the work there. We look long-term. So the planning is compact and a lot to think through what are the costs and consequences of some decision, right? So that that helps us to sustain some of the investment we have in terms of processes, so that it's much more long-lasting. Amir.
Okay, cool. Okay, I actually answered this from my part when you missing out just now.
Right.
What is my favorite part about working with Hartalega? So my answer was the opportunity to make difference, the opportunity to make change, and the opportunity to actually involve in the meaningful projects, because Hartalega is expanding and we keep on innovating. So there are plenty of projects, meaningful projects that you can go into, tap into. So I think the audience are also curious. What about you? What is your favorite part about working with Hartalega?
Oh, fantastic people, right? I've said it many times. I think I may hear me say this. I felt that I was 22 years old when I come to join this company. There's so much energy. There's so much I can do, right? There's so much like, let's do it. Let's think about it, right? And it's just overwhelming in terms of how people react to a certain challenge or problem. I think that's fundamental. Second, I really think it's important. It's the purpose. I came in with a view that I want to grow together with this company, that we become a proudly Malaysian, externally admired company. And the second part is Malaysian talent, right? So we want you, right? When you come in here, don't want you to say, I want to resign by 2 years, jangan, right? I want to see you as your director. You are future director. Please join us, and we want to have that same vision as you have to grow with the company as we grow together.
Great answer, Joseph. Okay, I think we can answer more questions like Rafi. You won't stop us, right? Because this is a great question from Razik, Joseph. I'm excited to ask this to you as well. Could you share how was this powerful idea sparked in Hartalega? Does it usually come from the employees, or perhaps it comes from the people in the medical field? How is actually sparked, right, blown into? Yeah,
right. So they are multi-channel right now. So the existing channel are actually very much customer based, and customer, there's two level, which is we're OEM, so it means that we do sell to another business which have their own customers, right? So the data gathering comes together with those companies, and the insights can be 1 or 2 level, right? So that has been really helpful. For example, we do have a technology in the food industry that I think it's called Find It, right? It uses material science where the challenge in the food industry is that if your gloves kind of touch some of the food and kind of left there, it contaminates, not only contaminates, but your company may lose the license, right? Because regulations in the food industry. So it has some of the metal detection. So it means you can pass through after you prepare your makan and in the pack, right? Then you have the machine and they detect, oh, no, that's actually metal, right? So they actually take it out so that your company's brand is not affected, right? Things like that. Now we are growing. So we have also from our vendors, we are also partners. We're also having a top. Right now, we're also growing from the bottom, right? And there is a system right now where you would key in your ideas inside and park those ideas. And we're going to keep those ideas.
Cool. Okay. I think this is the last question from you.
Okay,
from
sure.
Amira is a Manchester graduate. She asked, what is it like, the working culture in Hartalega? And if she joins us, how she can grow her personal and career development? And then what kind of opportunities? 3 questions, Amira.
Wow.
Right into it. What kind of opportunities that can be offered to them as a newbie in the industry? Yeah. Working culture, how she can grow, and what is type of opportunities that she can have.
Thank you. So we are flexible, dedicated. We put a lot of effort, honest, and we have a culture where we want to try more, right? So I do like this kind of culture, and one of the things that I kind of observed when I first come in here was not a lot of politics. I can't say for everywhere else, but that's an observation. where can you grow, right? So we are moving, differentiating our business. We are moving into trading of medical gloves and medical apparatus as well. And so there are the trading arm right now that we created this year. So we do have a lot of business, maybe 98% that's on the glove manufacturing, right? So inside there, the usual, right, from engineering, manufacturing, supply chain, IT, the whole lots, right? I'm not sure what are you in terms of specialization, but I think we are able to touch it, right? We have also selectively grow in terms of some of the structural to be really globally focused, right? Like looking at 2 to 3 years ahead, like there's a corporate development, social compliances, legal, which is created this year. So a lot more in terms of complexity that we need to have in responding to global operations. Where you can grow, many areas. I think we are introducing an internal movement this year. This is the first time, means that we are encouraging people 2 to 3 years. You get excited, you do what you need to do in terms of your performance. You try different areas, right? Especially when you're entry level, do more, right? Then as you kind of have more experience, then as you go up to the top, right, you have all the different experiences. And previously we did not have that. So there are maturation in terms of how we manage people and how we move people, and we'll continue to do that. So competences, skills are mapped out, the leadership framework are there. So yeah, hopefully that give you a glimpse, but maybe we can have a conversation in LinkedIn if you need a personal view, right? And Ami is there as well. Back to you, Ami.
Okay, so this is just a question that I noticed, and I will help answer this, Joseph.
Sure.
This person asked, what are positions available for chemical engineering graduate in Hartalega? So you asked for research and development. Apparently, it's not really suitable there. For our chemical engineering, usually the most suitable department or roles that you should apply to will be on our production department and quality assurance department. So because in our research and development, the focus will be more on applied sciences, chemistry, and materials. So I hope that answers you. So I think that's about it. We answered some questions. Thank you so much, audience. You guys.
Thank you so much, audience.
If Joseph, you have time to look at the comment section later, there are some sharing their experiences leading with senior leadership team and how their ideas are being accepted or rejected. So yeah, it was very engaging. I love you guys. Thank you so much for not letting me and Joseph walk alone.
Yes, thank you for that.
So
Especially I went missing, right?
Hashtag YNWA. Okay. So yeah, I think that's all from us. Wafi, anything?
Thank you guys so much. Nope, nothing. You guys have said a lot today. Very, very insightful session. Thank you so much for that. We really loved the energy as well, and so did the audience. So if you'd like to be part of a workplace that is making strides on the world stage and one that values innovation, you can discover the different career opportunities at Hartalega by visiting their virtual booth here at Graduan Aspire. Don't forget to vote for them as Malaysia's most preferred employer. To the audience members that had their questions answered live during the webinar, Team Graduan will be in touch with you on your Shopee vouchers. Once again, thank you, Amir, thank you, Joseph, and have a good day, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
You will never